The tiny nation of Georgia lies between Russia and Turkey. While the majority here favor closer ties,
we are not saying we are against West. I always say I'm a big enthusiast of selective westernization of Georgia.
Many like Levan Vazadze insist the opening must not happen at the expense of Georgia's faith and family values.
We'll take all the productive, progressive things from you, but we'll throw in garbage all the nonsense. And unfortunately, in this particular case, this means your current pseudo-moral standards need to stay outside of Georgia.
Vazadze is a prominent Georgian businessman and pro-family advocate. The pseudo-moral standards he refers to are efforts by the US and EU to force Georgia into accepting homosexual practices and same-sex marriage as societal norms.
If you think indecent, radically sexual behavior is what you want to do, that's your choice. But if I think that this is an embarrassing sin, I want to remain in a society which is allowed to say that.
Much to his dismay, the Georgian parliament, under pressure from the European Union and with help from international pro-gay groups, passed a controversial law in 2014 making it illegal to discriminate against people on the basis of their sexual orientation. Vazadze says the decision amounted to the legalization of homosexuality in Georgia. You say this law is part of an international agenda. What is that agenda?
To destroy a family. I believe the front line of this war is in every living room and in every bedroom where your wife and my wife, our children, sleep.
The front line is now spreading to Georgian classrooms, with children as young as 8 being taught gender theory.
To somehow alter and change.
Tinatin Khorbaladze is director of a pro-family organization. She says the aim is simple yet alarming.
To change the thinking of the children, to be open and to accept the things that still my generation and elder generation consider to be not really acceptable.
Georgia is deeply conservative. More than 80% of the population here say they belong to the Orthodox Church, and polls show a majority side with the Church in opposing anything other than traditional heterosexual relationships.
We feel the responsibility for the future of this country, for the future of our children and next generation.
But not everyone agrees with the Church's stance on marriage. Some human rights groups have labeled this country one of the most homophobic nations in the world. Meanwhile, Levan Vazadze worries the pressure to become more accepting of homosexuality in Georgia will only intensify following last year's controversial Supreme Court decision legalizing same-sex marriage in America. He bemoans the fact that since the ruling, many in America are too afraid to speak out against homosexuality.
You can no longer freely express your opinion about what's shameful and what is disgraceful, and you are crucified for that. The whole concept of sin is being abolished. Where is it? The metamorphosis in English language is staggering. I studied it since I was a child, and I remember that shame meant shame. In modern English, when someone says it's a shame, he or she means it's a pity. So we see a gutting of the concept of shame.
Vazadze is praying Georgia never reaches that point. He's urging his fellow countrymen to be bold in proclaiming the truth in love. Is it your opinion that the church in Georgia, Christians in Georgia like yourself, are in the end going to determine the future of your country?
What else? Of course. That's it. Nothing else.
George Thomas, CBN News in Tbilisi, the Republic of Georgia.